what I was saying is we'll come back to. I have other questions around the Council of Nicaea and some other things there. We'll come back to that, but because we've been honing in on like the story of Jesus and the death so much right now. Let's start with this. What was the history of like crucifixion, and how common of a practice had that been within the Roman Empire at that time versus like other ways of people being put to death?
During the Great Persecution, you're talking about? Like
No, like during when Jesus was crucified.
Oh, you're talking about crucifixion.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what the Romans were doing. This is like well documented that the Romans used crucifixion for the worst outlaws. So they wouldn't crucify their own Roman citizens unless it was something horrible. I don't know. I can't think of any on the top of my head.
Well, wasn't Jesus technically a Roman citizen?
No, Paul was.
Wait, what? All right, explain that.
Paul
he's
was
living in the Roman Empire.
Yeah, Paul. Well, here's okay. Good question. People don't. A lot of people don't know this.
I've never heard this explained.
The Roman Empire has senatorial provinces, and they have imperial provinces. The senatorial provinces are Italy, Greece, Carthage, and I think North Africa. And they're scrunched in the Mediterranean.
Right.
And those are the senatorial provinces. There's more rights there.
Meaning they have representatives.
There's more representative. They have more rights. They get more funding, all that stuff. And then in the outskirts, which is Judea, which is Asia Minor, which is the outskirts.
They're like Puerto Rico.
It's exactly. They're the imperial provinces. So they're still they still claim that land as part of the Roman Empire. But it's the imperial. We took over this land.
Got it.
They're not our people. Now you could have citizenship in an imperial province, but it was hard to get it.
Okay.
Way harder to get it. So the Judeans were not necessarily their religions aren't legalized and they're not recognized as the Roman imperial religion, but they're allowed to do it. They don't want problems. They're not trying to like make people do things they don't want to do.
Yeah.
They want people to be happy.
Yeah.
So like they just want you to pay your taxes and honor Caesar and just do it, stay out of everyone else's way.
But you were saying their own Roman citizens they wouldn't crucify.
They wouldn't crucify. Crucifixion is so horrible that they would do it as a way to deter people from doing whatever the person got crucified for. And so like people who were like religious fanatics who were like claiming to like take down the Roman Empire through their divine power, that's a problem. That needs to be stopped. And not only does it need to be stopped, we need to make a message for anyone who tries to do this, that they'll be crucified and they're going to have a horrible, the worst death you can imagine all day long. You're just dying slowly.
Now, but there's multiple ways they would do it. One would be they would nail people in. The other way would be they would literally tie their arms and it would take days, I think, to die, right?
Yeah.
So did they just do both of those?
I'm sure it depended on where you were and who's doing it.
Got it.
This is not easy to do.
Right.
So imagine trying to do this to somebody. I couldn't do it. So like you got to think. So whoever's got to do this, do they want to draw it out, or do they want to just get it over with?
Right.
So my guess is, depending on where you're at, who's doing it, it probably was different everywhere.
Okay.
There probably was a different way of doing it, and there might have been someone who just didn't want to do crucifixions. They just wanted to do a quick, I don't know, stab or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The second big question I had here is kind of at the center of what we're talking about today, just with you and your perspective and your own journey and like how you're looking at all this and evaluating it. But like based on all your research and what you think, who was Jesus like to you?
So like if we just accept Jesus of Nazareth is a real person,
right,
and like the bare minimum of what I think he was doing. So I've been to Israel. I spent a whole month there, and I was fascinated by the Galilee where Jesus grew up. I was fascinated about how Hellenized it was. How
Greek.
How much they had stadiums there, they have theaters there, they have temples to Greek gods everywhere. There was a temple dedicated to Augustus right around the time Jesus was alive, probably like the 1st century BC. That would have been like 30 minutes from him, like in Nazareth, right there. There's a temple of Pan there.
Pan
Sepphoris,
or Pam?
Pan, the god Pan.
2 M's?
Pan.
2 M's.
Oh, Pam?
Oh, he's not getting the joke.
What's that?
Remember from Step Brothers? When he's like, are you saying Pam or Pan?
Oh, I just remember that now.
Pan.
Yeah. That's funny.
Damn it.
So they have a
Right over his head.
Yeah, it went right over me. I thought it was like Pam Anderson or something. I was like, what?
No.
Pam?
No.
Anyways, no. So it's very Hellenized in comparison to when I went to Jerusalem. Not Hellenized, not as Hellenized. Very more traditional, very more Jewish. But in the north, it was way more Romanized and Hellenized in that, especially in that period. Looking at the research and
Sure.
when the theaters were built, and it seems to be projects of Herod the Great in the 1st century BC, build all these building projects all over Israel, and completely got the place up to par with Roman standards at the time. Did a great job. Jesus would have grew up in that.
Yes.
So he would have been. Sepphoris is the big city hub for where Nazareth is.
So he would have. You're saying he would have been in some ways culturally Hellenized.
Yeah. So think about it like this: New Jersey, right now, with Hoboken, New York City is the big city, right?
Right.
That's where everyone goes to go do stuff. Nazareth would be like Hoboken, and New York City would be like Sepphoris, the big city. Walking distance, too.
Yeah.
So you can literally walk from Nazareth to Sepphoris. It's the same general area.
Yeah.
It's literally 2 hills on the same area. So you would walk from one hill to the next hill to go to Sepphoris, where the big market is, where the theater is, where the columns are, where the governor would be. And Jesus would have probably been there during a time where there's plays going on. And I think he was educated enough to know what the cultural milieu was. He was able to read the times and understand what was going on. And that's why I think Jesus, a lot of there's this, they call it the Q theory. And basically what it is they take the 3 synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and they look for the common, what do those 3 have in common?
Can you tell people what synoptic means?
Synoptic is the first 3 gospels, besides John.
Got it.
So Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Now, Matthew, Mark, and Luke have a lot of information in common. In fact, a lot of it's word for word the same in those 3 gospels. So what scholars have theorized is that there was a proto-gospel called Q. They just named it Q. It means source in German, Quell or whatever. And this the source for the gospels that came before Mark. And it was just basically sayings. Jesus says this, Jesus says this, and Jesus says this. And if we look at those sayings that all these 3 gospels have in common, you get a Jesus who is concerned about his fellow Jews being too dogmatic and not living with reason and just being like common sense. So for example, one of the phrases that you get in Q is, if your animal falls into a ditch during the Sabbath, are you going to leave it in the ditch because you can't work on the Sabbath? You're going to get that animal out. You're going to save that animal's life because it's going to have a better outcome. Mm-hmm. That's reason. Well, Jewish law says that you can't get your animal out of a ditch if it falls during a Sabbath. You have to wait till the next sunrise. So the animal might die in the ditch. You might lose the animal. Jesus seemed to have this attitude where he was trying to combat illogical dogma that he was seeing in his circles of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And I think he was trying to reform his religion to be more worldly, to also to stop thinking in terms of bloodline and Abraham this and 12 tribes that. Think of more.
Even though he came from one.
Even though he came from one. Mm. But I think he wanted people to think more spiritually instead of physically. Get off of the material things and think more spiritual. That seems to be from what I gathered, his reformation of Judaism at the time period. So,
and correct me if I'm wrong here, are you saying he's like a prophetic type figure?
That's what a lot of the. I mean, I do think that there might be some truth to him calling, that's one of the things that they credit him for is prophesying that the temple is going to fall. Like one of the things Jesus says in the sources and in the Gospels is that there will be no stones here standing when the Lord comes. Mm-hmm. Meaning the temple is going to be destroyed and not a single stone will be standing. Now, the reason why I think that might be something he actually said is because it's technically not true. There technically is a few stones still standing from the old temple. That's what the Wailing Wall is. Now, some people
Ah,
dispute
yes.
this. Some people dispute this. They know the Wailing Wall, that wasn't part of the temple. Most people think it was, which means
Can't they carbon date that too?
yeah, they know it was. They
Right?
know they know
Yeah,
they
yeah.
know it was built by Herod.
Yeah.
They just think that that part for some reason is different. I don't know why. I'm just making sure people know. I understand that people do debate this,
Sure.
but most people agree that part of the temple is that Wailing Wall. The Jews today go and they wail at the wall.
Yeah.
I was there actually. I stopped by that spot. It was interesting. But if Jesus didn't say that, why would you make that up? Why would you write in the mouth of Jesus, no stone will be standing, and there's a few stones standing?
Yeah.
Unless he did say that, and he just was he was close to the point where the temple does get destroyed. So they might have been like blown away that this guy was predicted the temple would fall, which also would explain why the Gospels get written right after the temple falls. So the first Gospel of Mark gets written right after 70 A.D.
This Alex was talking
Which
about
might have
this.
been a response to going, oh shit, Jesus predicted this was going to happen.
Yes.
And it did. And
He's
they just,
Nostradamus.
that detail about
Yeah.
the rocks, they didn't really care about it. There was enough, it was correct enough that they just put it in the Gospels. That's my
Rocks,
thought.
temple,
Yeah,
falls.
close enough, right?
It's all there.
Another one that I think he actually did say is that Jesus tells his disciples, some of you standing here today will not taste death before the Son of Man comes returning in his glory. I think we should pull that one up so I can get that one right. You just do Jesus, some of you will not taste death. Okay.
Right.
Matthew
Matthew
16, there you go.
16:28.
Yeah.
Okay. So truly I tell you, some who are standing. Wait, what just happened?
Go back.
Go back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it right there. That's it. That's
right.
the one.
This is what we
Yeah,
want.
those
right?
are all different
Truly
versions,
I
yeah.
tell you, who are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming into his kingdom.
Now,
Okay.
2,000 years have gone
That's
by.
a bar.
2,000, it's a cool bar.
Yeah.
2,000 years have now gone by. And is there anyone still alive from Jesus' time?
That I'm aware of? No.
Exactly. So this is technically a failed prophecy in a way, which makes me think he did say this.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.